That was embarrassing. Welcome to the Comic Binge. I am your host, Paul Herman, and actually, I am not muted this time. Sometimes it's hard to remember if I'm muted or not. This mic is very deceiving. But anyway, today we're going to talk about the huge news of Marvel and DC comics crossovers here and coming back, which we'll talk about here regarding Bleeding Cool news, I should say. A website I probably should talk and view more because I love comics so much, but for whatever reason, I just don't. I don't really frequent the site. Nothing personal. I just don't really go to it, and I just go to hang out with my friends and talk about comics rather than read it online. So anyway, if you haven't already, do me a favor, please hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. It helps us get out there and to the viewers of people who actually like to, read comics and talk about comics and get into all that whole thing. I really appreciate everybody out there. But yeah, today we are talking about Marvel and DC Comics crossovers coming back. And if you probably wondered why you came to this video before and I was muted, sorry about that. I appreciate everyone coming on. Hit the like button. Show me some sympathy, please. For the love of God. It's embarrassing. But oh well, I don't really care that much, to be quite honest with you. But anyway, today, really quickly, not a super long stream. We're going to talk a little bit about the Bleeding Cool exciting news that Marvel and DC comics are coming together via Bleeding Cool. Also from Barry Kitson, the very veteran artist from Marvel and DC comic books. Apparently, according to Barry Kitson, he's looking for people that he may have sold some of his amalgam material to in the wild out there, trying to get it out there for special. Basically, DC and Marvel are asking him, what he has available for special features, and how what's really funny is how amalgam, this little symbol here, is the reason why this whole thing got spewed out in the first place. It wasn't even the crossovers. It was the Barry Kitson drawn comics that he's looking out there because they're planning on re-releasing these. How they're re-releasing them, we'll figure that out. But obviously, Marvel and DC started their crossovers. If you want to I'm just going to go out with it. If you want to go deep cut, you can look it up. But really, the real true Marvel DC crossover happened with Superman and Spider-Man crossover, written by Jerry Conway and drawn by the beautiful Ross Andru. And if you listen to Rob Liefeld podcast, it was assisted by none other than Neil Adams himself. Apparently, Ross Andru is an underrated Spider-Man artist out there, for those who are wondering. If you're in the chat, hit me up. Got 10 people watching. Hit the like button, subscribe. Hit me up some questions if you want. Get involved. I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, so according to Barry Kitson, they're reprinting all of these, I'm assuming most of them here, their crossovers and their amalgam comics. And it's really exciting. And for me, as someone who, I grew up on these crossovers. And if you don't believe me, let me show you how serious I am. I've got my original Crossovers Classics trade. This thing is like over 30. I'm 42. I got this when I was probably 8. Yeah, this is an OG. I got this when I was in elementary school. A friend of mine, I guess you call him a friend, we traded over, but I traded a bunch of comics to get this. I had to get it. So I gave him a buttload of single issues to get this Crossover Classics, which has, as you can see, I'll throw the picture up here. You've got Hulk versus Batman. You got Superman versus Spider-Man. You've got Teen Titans versus X-Men, which is very interesting. That was my introduction to Teen Titans, actually, was through this Crossover Classics. I had no idea who the hell these characters were. DC was in a very, very much a different place. But yeah, that was very interesting. So hello, Andrew. Appreciate you coming by. Super do appreciate it. If you're watching this live, go ahead and hit me up here in the live chat, or if you leave a comment, that'd be better. Leave a like. So yeah, we've got here reprinting of this, and I have a theory what's going on with all this. So bear with me. But obviously, we're getting like crossovers like this here, Batman and Spider-Man, which is really, really exciting. But what's interesting is that the amalgam stuff like JLX, you got Speed Demon, which is obviously Flash and Ghost. I love the Speed Demon, by the way. I think this is fantastic looking. You got Amazon, obviously Wonder Woman, Storm, Darklaw, Wolverine, Batman. You got Spider-Boy, which I think is an amazing concept more than the actual comics. Yeah. Listen to the Spider-Man book club for my review of those two issues. And then you've got like Dave Gibbons. God, I love Dave Gibbons. Legend. Yeah, you've got these comics are all coming back. And according to Barry Kitson, they are going to be reprinting these. And here's the list of what we've got. Marvel Amalgam one-shots. It gets cut off from my banner here, but oh well. There's a lot of them. And there's trade, back in the day in the 90s when Marvel and DC were desperate for sales because they were now competing with Image and Dark Horse a little bit more, they're actually a little more legit, cutting into their bottom line. They decided to come and join forces and do a bunch of really fun, like one issue, like crossover stuff because of stuff like this, the Marvel DC comics, which you could, we did a whole video on this, and on the binge. We reviewed this comic series. I bought this at half price books for like $10 back in the day. This was a steal. But thankfully, because now Marvel and DC have got their act together, we've got now this probably gonna be reprinted. So I have a theory for this. Again, leave a comment, hit me up in the live chat, yo. Ask some questions. Here's my theory. I think Marvel and DC are gonna do it up like this. They're gonna reprint all these single issues. And this is not like a trade. Now, again, these are actually single, like this 48 page and between 48 64 pages, but then they're collected into a trade like this, right? They're not gonna release this outright like this. I mean, you could, and you're gonna make a lot of money, but let's be real here. Where's the money in major, marketing comic books and corporate comics? It's in the variant issues. It's the variant issues, variant covers. It's, black and white, this, 1 out of 16, whatever. Order this many copies, comic store, and we'll give you this variant edition and whatever. That's not my bag. I'm not a key issue hunter. I like to read comics and then put them away and read them again later on like this. What my prediction is, these comics will be reprinted single issues with a gazillion variant covers to sell, right? Then they're going to put into a trade. And that goes for all of them. Meaning we've got Spider-Man, Superman. And then if you go back to here, we're going to get the Hulk of Batman, the Teen Titans series. Because there only is one issue, right? Might as well make it count. But then all the other issues, like the 90s stuff, like the Batman, Spider-Man, Batman, Daredevil. You've got Superman and Fantastic Four. You've got Green Lantern, Silver Surfer. And then not to mention all the other, classic crossovers that you had here, like with the whole additional Access comic, Access character that they shared, they being Marvel and DC, that came out of this series, right? So all of this is going to be reprinted single, in my opinion. My prediction, I'd be shocked if they didn't do this. I'd be happy they didn't, to be honest. They went straight to trades. I don't think so. But I think they're going to sell them all single issues, and you're going to get things like Speed Demon reprinted with the original cover, with probably a new cover as well. Yeah, you're going to get all these reprinted with a million variant covers, and it makes sense. You want to make money. And I don't blame people for wanting to make money, right? Like that's just reality. So I think that's what's going to end up happening. If Barry Kitson is right about this, which again, he has no reason not to, sounds legit. Hopefully it's not limited edition. Like they're going to make it limited. That to me makes it doesn't make sense to me. Why they be asking for extra stuff just for a limited time, like a limited, run of the prints of like the JLA Avengers and series for George Perez. So I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think we're going to get this stuff reprinted, single issues, new covers, original covers, just throwing it out there and just trying to make as much money on these as possible, which again, I want them. Give it to me. I want these comics to buy again so I can save these things and not destroy them by rereading them all the time. So, yeah, this is going to be a load of fun. I really do. And I think here's my other prediction. I think based on this and the new variant covers we're going to get, my opinion is this. If the Amalgam series and the crossovers go well, we're going to be getting new stories. It's just inevitable. And I think it's going to be fun. Again, if they sell that well, which I think they will, to be quite honest, I think they will. I think what's going to end up happening is these are going to sell really well. You're probably going to have, let's face it, like Funko having they're selling the rights to do Funko action figures of them, or because I think the licenses are obviously not. I mean, Tom McFarlane's got the DC stuff. You've got Hasbro having the Marvel stuff. Funko's kind of like the one step all. I mean, not because I live by it, but that's just reality. But you probably could maybe trade off with the different companies. I mean, that makes sense, right? But yeah, man, I personally think it's going to be probably, that's the way they're going to do it. They're going to market it, sell it, resell it, and keep selling it, and keep making that money off this and keep reprinting it. Because, I mean, yeah. And then from there, we'll see what happens. But I don't want to get too crazy and get too into the weeds of like a film or something like that. I think that could eventually happen in like 10 years. But I think but I do think action figures and like Funko Pops and things like stuff like that, that's going to be that's going to be a big money selling, getting people together to buy these comics and everything. I mean, it just makes sense. Make as much money as you can. And to be honest, as someone who loves the comic medium so much and the important roles that Marvel and DC share, I want them to do that. I want them to bring these things together and sell them and get people involved and excited, because you're going to cross promote by doing this. You're going to have people who only read Marvel, and because I was for a long time only read Marvel, and I just said it a little bit ago. My introduction to the Teen Titans was through crossover classics. I never really read DC comics until I got older, and everything I did was through these comics. So or these Marvel DC crossovers. So I think it's extremely important to do this. I think to like help them kind of sturdy the ship a little bit for the comic medium as far as the mainstream comic medium for themselves. And I think this is a great way to do it. There's so many fun stories out there. I really love the Miran Mars Silver Surfer comic. Those who are watching live or in the comments, excuse me, did you read these? Which one was your favorite? I mean, this is a classic. JLA event. I read this way later, but I got to tell you, this was way better than it has any right to be quite honest. Is better. I mean, Kurt Busiek, George Perez, chef's kiss, right? This is not the greatest comics to read, but they're fun. These have some moments in them too. Like this is all of them are not like high art, let's be real, but they're fun enough. But yeah, I want them to be remade. Or reprinted. I want to be able to look at them and stash them out and put them on my spinner rack here again, and not have to feel like they're getting destroyed. It's going to be nice to have them, and then hopefully that's what ends up happening. But we'll see. Anyway, I'll get out of here. Again, if those who want to know, go check out the Bleeding Cool article. It was really cool. They broke the news. Go support them. Read the articles. Cool. Again, I don't read them a ton. Nothing personal. Just don't really read news sites anymore. But yeah, Marvel DC crossovers, Amalgam coming back. Super exciting. Again, if you haven't watched it already, go hit the like button, hit subscribe. Super appreciate everyone who already has. And we have a great show this week. We have Rob Sketchcraft who's going to be coming on talking about steampunk by Chris Bocciolo, if I'm saying his name right, and Joe Kelly. Whoo! That's going to be a doozy to talk about. That's all I got to say. But till then, y'all, read more comments.